Good morning. Good morning. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to an episode of PATTAY'S Performance. Today in the driveway on 6-ton jack stands, okay, this is PATTAY'S Performance 2006 Nissan Altima. Has 74,000 miles, not even 176. Obviously growing. She is the original owner of it. This car absolutely owes us nothing. She was developing a sound in the rear, and she can make that for you. I couldn't get it on camera. I tried to record it, I just couldn't. But it is like she could do it for you guys. Okay, so the premise behind this is that if you could do brakes on your car, then you can 110% do this repair. You do not need to pay a professional whatsoever at all. Basic tools. Maybe you might need one specialty tool, kind of sort of, but you can improvise maybe with the screwdriver or something, but we'll cover that later. Okay, you're going to be changing the rear hub assembly. If you guys didn't figure that out in the description. Okay. Oh. No, let me give you guys a different camera angle. Alright, so I am going to put a affiliated link in my description to the eBay exact seller and the exact item that I purchased. And this is how I know it's going to be an easy thing. There are some vehicles that require the hub to be pressed in and out, which is a little bit a pain in the you-know-what. But these are completely bolt-on assembly. Right? This is completely bolt-on. And right here is the component that goes bad. There's bearings inside here, like a wheel bearing. And they wear out, it happens. Listen, at 76,000 miles, okay, a 2006, I have zero complaints, and it's a non-maintenance item. I'm basically saying that there's nothing you could do to prevent this, except keep your suspension in healthy and outstanding shape. So with her, it is for sure. We've made a great effort to do so. So it's just, like I said, this car owes us nothing. These original wheel bearings owe us nothing. And I really can't stress to you guys that, like I said, this is something you guys, if you guys could do brakes, you could do it yourselves. I am on 6-ton jack stands. You do not need to have 6 tons. Your regular 3 tons will be fine. The reason why I have 6 tons is for videoing purposes, and the 3 tons keyword used to have from Harbor Freight, and they collapsed many moons ago. And I ended up getting myself a set of nice Hein Warner secondhand, and it works between this and Mandingo. So, alright. In the description, I'm going to put some tools needed for this job, because we're doing this as we go along. But I would guarantee, it'd be safe to say, the biggest socket you're going to need is 19mm for the lug nuts. I don't see there being any other sizes bigger than that. So a nice general 3/8 socket set, a nice ratchet, definitely a torque wrench for your tires. I'm going to be using my Milwaukee impact gun. So, you know, if you don't have an impact gun, just break the wheels on the tires first. I mean, like a change in a flat tire, and, you know, jack it up in the air. And then at the end of the video, maybe I'll just go over my jack points and a couple of tips that I didn't cover in the beginning. Alright, so let's get this going. Alright guys, so just a couple tools that I'm using, okay? Like I said before, okay, I am going to be using my Milwaukee 3/8 stubby impact. This thing is invaluable. This is not required. You can just use your regular ratchet, which I'm going to have here, 3/8 drive. A small extension, just in case we need it. I'm not sure if we will. Your standard generalized 3/8 metric socket set. I have a feeling we're going to be using anything from maybe 14, 17, and 19. Just a guess. Small pry bar. Doesn't hurt. We're going to be prying off the caliper. Like I said, a punch. Right, this is a brass punch, but any metal punch will do. My torque wrench, this is very important for the lug nuts. 19mm. Just a brass hammer, a dead blow hammer, and big old orange, right? We're going to have to beat this rotor off, unfortunately. So we don't want to damage it unless we plan on replacing it. We'll get into that later. Some things I'm going to be using. This is brake caliper lube. We do have to remove the brakes to get to it. It's just a nasty habit of mine that if I have to take something apart, I'm going to clean it and lube it and put it right back in. Nectar of the Gods anti-seize. I just can't stress this more than enough. You guys see this on my channel all the time. get some of this. This makes the next time you have to do the job or take something apart to get to something else so much easier. Prevents rust. Get it. Some brake parts cleaner and some lube. Right? You just never know. And then I just have my wife's old kitchen mat. I kneel on this so my knees don't get messed up. I am working in the driveway. No lift around here. Alright, so step one and two would be jacking it up and getting on the jack stand. There we go. I'll zip off these luggage. Alright, lug nuts exposed, tire off, and look at that. Nice and easy. Our hub bearing, as you guys could see from the photo, right, we like to take, good thing is, right, 5 lug nuts, but look at this. Just 4 bolts hold this in the back. So we need to access this point, and we have to push this out. Okay, so like I was saying before, is if you've done brakes, you can definitely do this because look what we have to remove. We have to remove the caliper bracket, the caliper, and the caliper bracket, swing that off to the side, and then the rotor actually has to come off. So I'm just checking out her brakes in the rear, and they're pretty good. So we don't have to do brakes, but this is something if you want to do at the same time, 110%, by all means go for it. Things you would want to do at the same time if you're doing this would be, how about this? Brakes, calipers, shocks. She is due for shocks, but we're waiting on parts to come in for that. But we'll get this video going. It'll be another video for another day. These are lifetime guarantees, so it's very easy for me to change these out. Quick struts from Monroe. Cool thing. So yeah, let's get this caliper off, and we'll get it going. Let me get you guys a good shot of the caliper. Alright, so just please use some sort of mechanical instinct or engineering. I'm going to be calling out what I'm doing, and when you guys work on the car yourself, you guys can get a feel. Like I said, if you've done brakes, you can definitely do this. So this is a 14 millimeter to take off the caliper. So let's get that going. Grab. And we'll do the bottom bolt. See, and this is why we needed. Can we get away with an extension, or do I actually need to get a wrench on this? We will see. Alright, we're going to need a wrench. Let's get this wrench on here. Pull up. Oh, come on. Gotta get a better angle. Out of the way, camera. Alright, so, wrench. See how easy that was to break and come out? Look at this. What color is this? You guys see that? That is anti-seize. See this? No rust buildup, no nothing. So, like I said, must use it. Hopefully, this is enough to swing out this caliper because we are heading, right? And here's the other bolt. See that? Nice. It's always good to compare. See if some are different, some are the same. The bottom one has this rubber tip. So that's how you know. Rubber on the bottom. Let's take our caliper and we'll just swing it up top. If you have a bungee cord, that'd be great. If not, let's just sit in the lower control arm. Okay, and this is what I was talking about before. These are the slide pins to your brakes. We're actually going to be cleaning these up and we're going to be lubricating these. Okay, next is our caliper bracket. 2 big bolts, 2 big nuts. Those look like a 19, and they are. You do not have to touch the brake pads. I don't think so. I think we can just keep them on the caliper bracket and put them back in. So like I said, just the caliper bracket bolts are the same position where there we go. Like I said, you see how easy these all come out? I'm not fighting because of anti-seize. I live in New York. A lot of rust should be here. I'm binding all of this stuff up. And we're almost done. And I also discovered something else wrong with my wife's car. So I guess that'll be another video for another day. It's always good to look. This is something that none of us could really detect unless you physically look at your vehicle. Okay, see, look, we kept the pads in. Now, make sure that your parking brake is released. And now this is why I had all these assortment of hammers. We're gonna have to beat this rotor off because it's not coming out. But if you guys could see, this looks like I did anti-seize here as well. So this should not take a lot of finagling. I'm going to use my BFG orange one. And we could also use a brass hammer. Since we're reusing the rotors, we don't want to damage them. We just want to beat them off. I'll just give it a spin. Yep, there we go. See? Cracked it loose. Good old anti-seize. And here is also another component to look at. These are your parking shoes. Right? If you want to do your parking shoes, take a picture, take it apart, and go through it. But look, now we have our hub exposed. And look, it's covered in anti-seize. 3 good whacks and that thing was done. So knowing at our old part, look, 4 bolts, and this should come out. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to spray inside where you can see those bolts go with lube. I'll take you off the stand and I'll show you, and that should give us some time to work this in. And like I said, very easy. Alright, let's get another video. Alright, see that? Bolt 1. Come on, come on. Bolt 2. There's 3 and 4. And then when we go on the back side, right, follow these bolts. If you guys could see them. That's your brake line. Alright, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. These 4 bolts have to come out. We do not have to touch anything else. I'll see if I can prop you guys on here and see if you guys can get a good view of what I'm doing. If not, then imagination time. Alright, so I just had our ratchet with a small extension, which I'm glad I brought it along. And we're taking this off. Are we recording? Yes, we are. Just did a little crunch. Okay, I'm just cracking these loose, and I can't believe it how easy these are to come in. I live in Long Island, New York, and you can see on the car, we do deal with rust here. See these springs? These are from Moog. I actually replaced her spring. She actually blew them out. It's funny. But technically, right after we get this out, if everything goes well, now of course nothing is easy, right? Do you think this hub is just going to come out? Or do you think we're going to have to beat it out? You know? And that's where I think the punch is going to come in, where we put these bolts back in and we just hammer them. We hammer them out through the bolts. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm just cracking these loose. Makes me wonder, makes me wish I have my 3/8 Milwaukee. My channel is mostly small engine, but we also highlight anything that involves doing it yourself, saving money, empowering you to take things upon yourself. So come along for the ride if you're looking to do a little bit more than your Nissan Altima. I do have other videos for her car, so it's a good place to stop by. I'll show you these bolts once they come out, but we'll give this thing a couple of good whacks on our own before we go that route of putting these back in and giving them a couple of taps from behind. And that's when you're definitely going to need a punch or maybe if you want to improvise with the screwdriver. But you know you're going to mess up your screwdriver. So that's your call. Come on. No. Our driveway's on an angle. Don't do this to me. Ah, there we go. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if the microphone could pick that up. I dropped my socket and extension. You know, once this hub is in, I'll show you what's broken. And we'll replace that. It's nice and easy. Would you hold your hub? See, these are original. They're missing my anti-seize, but they came out really, really nice and easy. So now, we're going to drive it from the back of the car in. So we're going to thread these bolts back in on the back side on opposite ends, diagonal. Top and bottom diagonal, and we're gonna hammer it and push it out each way. Alright, so look. Loosey goosey. Let's go back underneath and I'll show you what else was broken. Look at this. This is her sway bar link. Very easy look. 1, 2 bolts. Another video for another day. But you see here? Look. Top and bottom. And these two are missing. So I put a punch and I hammered it through and it actually came right out. 2 good smacks. Our hub bearing is free. Absolutely amazing. And let me see. Yeah. Oh, let's take these bolts out. Got all excited. This is my first time doing it. Obviously, it's the original to the car, so hopefully when you do it, they're original to yours, or whoever did it before you. Mechanic made it nice and clean. Look at this. Look at this hub comes in and out. Look how stiff this is. Let's take out our new one. Our new one is covered in oil. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Leave that covered in oil. Look at this. Oh, so much harder to spin. So that was probably the problematic one. And look at this. All right. You never know. You never know when you're going to have to do this again. Right, these are the cheapest wheel bearings I could find. Normally I'm not a cheap person at all. I like my lifetime guarantees. I think these are only guaranteed for a year. And God willing, hopefully, we won't have this car in a year. My buddy who is very affluent in Nissan says we are on borrowed time. But he's surprised it lasted this long. But I think due to my strict maintenance regimen, preventive maintenance regimen, we've avoided a lot of things. Transmission issues, timing chain issues. Alright, so I'm just gonna slide this back in, let it sit. And remember these 4 bolts. This is what you do to anti-seize. Right on threads. Right on threads. Right, you always wanna, you can do the whole bolt or just at the end. Because when you screw it in, it's gonna work its way into the threads. So I'll do that to all 4 and I'll get them in. We're done, we're almost done. We're at the home stretch. Alright guys, so we have the hub back on. The way we took it off is the way we put it back on, but just like look how it spins so freely. So she's going to be noticing a little bit more pickup, definitely an increase in her miles per gallon, because now this is less resistance compared to this, so everything's going to move a little bit freely, right? Every little bit helps. This is something you will not detect until it makes a noise or you actually have wheel play or wear on the tire. That's just something else. So no torque specs for this, right? You just kind of got to treat it like when you do your brakes or whatever, you just get it nice and tight, get it nice and snug. Just give it a good, you know, don't go too much. You don't want to snap anything, but just give it a good little rip, right? And you'll know, you'll feel, you will feel, it will talk to you, it will tell you what to do. Of course is exactly what we're going to be doing, right? You see how easy this hub came off, and the brake too, and the rotor. We are going to be putting a healthy coat of anti-seize for sure. I'm just going to slide this back in. Her rotors, I mean her parking brakes are definitely in great shape. So we can just put that back on. We're good to go. We can slide her tire on too. You know, at that point, you know, I'm going to call this wrap. I'm going to do the other side. Remember, these are universal, so it doesn't matter which side get which. It's all the same. Alright, so change of mind. We had a camera, not a camera, we had a microphone malfunction. Alright, so remember the bottom caliper bolt was a little hard to get to? So what I'm doing now is I jacked up the lower control arm, and as you guys see, now I have a clear pass-through bolt. Clear pass-through pin. But now we're going to go back to the caliper loop. So caliper loop, remember, we're going to do these to the slide pins. The slide pins are out, so why not clean them and just re-lubricate them? It's foolish not to. And the same way we do the anti-seize, it's the same way we do the slide pin. See the bottom one? Well, you can't see now, but the bottom one, remember, has the black rubber tip. So for me, sometimes when I take things apart and put them back together, I like to do like little synonyms, like black on bottom, see, B. And then even like at work, I had to do a starter, and it was given to me towards the end of my shift. And I work on big semi-trucks, so a little bit different. Sometimes you think that because they're bigger, there'd be more space to work on them. That is absolutely not the case. What a horrible misconception, especially with all the electronics put out. So anyway, we keep 2 different color zip ties just because there is no rhyme or reason. So I like to do, you know, battery powered is positive and negative, so black is negative. So I do, you know, black for negative. And then we don't have red zip ties, we have white ones. And the white ones are now positive. So I zip tie them together. And then when I leave my shift and the next mechanic takes over, it's pretty much easy, you know, for him to take over. That's a little side note. Alright, let's get those in and we'll call it a day. Alright guys, so as promised, here's our jack points. See this quarter of the frame comes all the way up to that L. I get it right on the L. And then I put my jack stand right here. Not on the pinch weld. This is a pinch weld. Don't do it on the pinch weld. I rest between here and here, and we're good to go. I've been doing this on our car. We've been together 7-10 years. It's been working just fine. And you mimic the same thing on the other side as well. Look at this. Look at this. What she hit. That's her fuel tank. Lucky her. Alright, so one of the last final steps, and to me is one of the most important, is absolutely torquing the wheels. This is a 2006 Nissan Altima. You see how I have to clock the spring? You never store your torque wrench clock, because then you wear out the spring. So I do it to 80. Listen, if you want to do it to 85, you'll be fine. You are not going to snap anything. Over torquing is where you snap things. You are going to appreciate this step when you have to do this by hand and you're stuck. I'm sorry, hear that click? Good. See that? That's why it's important. You guys see I'm going to star pack, so I know where I'm seated. And that's the same thing when you do the hub. I'm just going to confirm. You want to do that in a star pattern, and that's how you get things to mate evenly. Alright guys, so the last and final step is what I like to do, just because even though we didn't push the pad back, what I like to do is just get back in the car. Okay, we'll find out. 177,000 miles she has. She's creeping up on 178. So anyway, just push the pedal nice and forward. Make sure we have good pressure. And, you know, we're good to go. I'm going to take it for a danger ride, make sure that that sound and noise goes away. And I definitely think that was the issue. Before I close this video, let me show you. This was the wheel bearing on the passenger side. Hopefully, I don't have my microphone, but you feel that? That's a crunch. See that? You can't see it, but you can feel when you move it, the friction. So that's that garbage. That is most likely the issue, 110%. So on that note, alright guys, get the car warmed up. Gonna take it on a danger ride, make sure that noise goes away. Pretty simple, guys. What do you think, right? If you could do brakes, you definitely do your wheel bearings. It could lead you to do other things too as well, right? We would have never found that broken sway bar link either, unless you just would have had to look at this vehicle. It is due for a state inspection, so we're definitely going to be taking care of that. That would have failed 110%, so it's a good thing we caught it. Alright, so anyway, if you guys found this video helpful, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Guess what? I'll see you guys on the next episode of PATTAY'S Performance. Later.